Good afternoon or evening as it may be. I'm here wearing this rather hideous shirt to show off. Well, actually, one thing you may notice is it doesn't quite look as terrible as it has for the better part of the past 2 years. And, well, the reason for that is pretty simple. If you've seen my other video, I finally upgraded my camera. Sony high-def Handycam, 8 gig internal memory. It's better than anything that I've used before. So I thought what I would do with today's video is, and yeah, my co-host is going to be bouncing around. I'm sure you all know Lexi. And of course, I now have a tripod, so I'm shooting in this direction rather than the other direction with the light blazing in the background using an absolutely horrible webcam. But I figured what I'm going to do today is actually, and I did something like this a couple years ago, but I'm going to do it again just because I feel like doing it again, is look back at all the various cameras that I've actually used on this channel over the years, and basically everything that you've ever seen on this channel during the, 7-8 years, however long it's been around at this point, has been shot with one of these cameras. Most of them are now retired. When I did my last kind of standard def camera overview video, I guess it was early 2013, so 2.5 years ago, most of them were still in use. They've now basically since been retired. So we'll start with, for years I had 3 mini DV cameras, one that was used on this channel on a regular basis, and one that I'd stopped using as my primary camera, probably maybe a couple months before I actually started shooting videos. And this one, when I was poking around, I actually couldn't find what I did with the power cable for it, but I think it's over in my junk box. I know it's here somewhere, I just have to find it. We have my JVC camera. Bought this, I think it was around 2006, so almost 9 years ago. Model, which I can never remember, was the GRDA30U. So yeah, this was the first mini DV camera I bought. You can kind of see it there. There were a number of problems with it. Now, one is the actual screen itself doesn't flip around. It just kind of goes up and down like that, and that's it. This camera was only good literally in the very best of lighting situations. If it was slightly dark, you wouldn't see anything. The picture itself was always kind of gray, never entirely in focus, no matter how much I played with the settings. It was mainly automatic. So eventually this just became a playback unit, so I'd use it to capture video. It was fine for playback when I used it for my other cameras. But occasionally I would use this on this channel, basically if my regular shooting camera was dead. Yeah, and if you know the videos, I can't even remember off the top of my head which videos it was at this point, but you'd actually notice the difference if you saw the videos. I think at one point in 2009, when I was still using my Mac, I was doing direct captures, and I had this kind of set up on a mini tripod, and I was using that for a while, but it just looked awful. But anyway, so yeah, the JVC. So then fast forward to late 2008, actually very shortly before I filmed my first video for this channel, which was a tour of the apartment I had at the time, which I must admit was a lot nicer than, well, where I am now, but, well, always just temporary, hopefully. Then I got into the Canon Mini DV. So I'd say, at this point, probably about 70%, give or take, of what's on this channel was actually shot with this camera. So I picked this up in, I think it was November 2008, when I gave up on the JVC. And this was a godsend, even though technically they're the same classic camera. This was superior in almost every way possible. First off, finally had a flip screen so I could see myself while I was shooting. Design-wise, I don't think it was really, you know, it was a camera bigger than what I have now. This was the base model camera. This was the ZR900. So, I guess the story behind this one and the next one is basically I was on eBay looking for a larger battery for this camera because it's just got the basic battery that barely lasts an hour on it. So I was on eBay and looking for batteries when I came across a demo model camera that was on sale. This was in California somewhere, I don't remember now. Oh yeah, and in case you're wondering where I bought them, this actually I think was originally from Tiger Direct. This came from Best Buy. And so as the story goes, so I was looking for a battery, and there was a camera shop, and this was on eBay. I was looking at Buy It Now because I really didn't feel like haggling over a camera. Although actually, well, I did bid on a few of them, but I didn't get them for the batteries. But I was looking for the battery, and then I was just looking at ZR cameras just in general, and they had the demo model going for $100 of this. So if you've seen it there. So it was the ZR 850, so the previous year model, but the difference between these, this was the base model with no real features to speak of, but I was perfectly fine with the way it was. This has everything. Now the reason it was being discounted is it had no accessories other than the battery I was looking for. So obviously I snagged it. I think it had been put up that day, and I think if anyone else had found it, they probably would have taken it, I don't know, quickly as I did. But anyway, so we have the 850. So this one, you know, it's got a digital camera built in, which I never actually used. It does have a little mini light, which I also don't think I ever used. A few other manual features. You can save to a memory card if you want, which I never actually did. For years when I was using these, I was using mini DV tapes. Pretty much the majority of the time I was using them. So basically I ended up with, I had 3 mini DV cams. The GVC, because it was older and wasn't really worth anything anyway, I just used that to capture footage, which saved the other 2 cameras. So the way I kind of divided them when I was using them is I used this for basically exclusively anything that I shot in my old office at my house. Anything for this channel generally exclusively was shot in this one, and for the 850, because it, you know, had more features and just the larger battery, I used this for non-YouTube stuff, or, you know, stuff that I was shooting elsewhere. Although I think even between them, this actually had a slightly better picture. But, so these 2 cameras, and they don't owe me anything at this point, they were both used heavily for years. So between 2008 and about 2012, I was mainly using this for this channel, sometimes this. Back then I would use tapes, so I'd use mini DV tapes and store the raw footage. I still have a couple boxes of tapes that have been sitting for, well, a couple years now. In late 2012 I actually just stopped buying tapes, and I also stopped using that camera altogether for anything else. This one was basically retired because it had started to develop a fault. Basically, it started with the record heads. There was a lot of pixelation. Then it had trouble playing back. So, yeah, at that point, it was kind of on its way out. But I still continued using this throughout 2013, actually into 2014. But near the end, this actually developed the same fault. So actually, both of these are now incapable of playing anything back. And my current main computer doesn't actually have a FireWire connection, but the computer that I have over here does, so yeah. Okay, so sorry about that. Move this over a little bit, try and center it. So yeah, my dog was looking for attention, as she does, so I had to stop there for a minute. But anyway, so as I was saying, so for between 2013 up until 2014, I was still using this basically just as a direct capture to the computer. I wasn't recording on tapes anymore. By 2014, the only thing that I was actually still using this for was my Doctor Who series overview, because that took forever, and just to kind of keep the consistency of the look. But by that point, for everything else, yeah, the 3 mini DV cams had largely been retired. So what I had been using, and also you'll notice even though they're standard def, the quality isn't that bad. What I'm actually going to do is start uploading some more of my older videos, which actually still look pretty good, just it was the encoding and stuff that I was using back then. We're talking like 6 years ago, looked like hell, and there's some videos that I'd like to still have up there. I still have the captured footage. The only I still have stuff that I'd like to capture, and the only camera that could still capture them or that still works is this. But I actually still have to find the cable, which is in a box somewhere, but when I get that, I'll capture some of the old stuff, just film videos and things like that. But anyway, so starting in late 2012, I actually started shooting some videos with this, which is my Samsung S3. I'm still using this, but it's due to be retired soon. It's, you know, it's been a great phone, but it doesn't sync with the computer anymore, and the battery life is almost diminishing by the day. But, and yeah, still, I think this is probably out of these and one of my digital cameras, the only thing that's still in use. But you don't really want to use your phone as your camcorder, especially because image stabilization on these is horrible. It's nice to shoot a little one, but it's not, you know, as good as a decent camera. So, yeah, I was shooting with these, and then in late 2013, there's an unboxing video of this on this channel, which that video was shot with my camera, but I picked up my Canon. And I could never remember the model number of this. It was the PowerShot A2400, something like that. I think it's 2400. But anyway, so there's this. This was less than $100, which I guess, you know, I can't really complain about too much. Pictures are okay, but I previously had my Canon ELPH 16 versus this was 7.1. This actually takes better pictures than this. This was also about, I think, $300, give or take, when I bought it. Actually, around the same time, I actually bought my my ZR 900. Anyway, so I bought this. Now it did 720, so I figured, well, this is better than what I had, and out of what I'm using now, it's the least terrible, but it's not great. Yeah, if you watched my unboxing of this camera, I was actually filming this because I think you could actually see it being kind of reflected in the viewfinder. But there it is again. So, yeah. And then there is the problem camera. The webcam, which is actually attached to the back of this. Actually, just take this off. As soon as I can remember how this comes off. There we go. So take this off. Right there. That is my webcam. That's the Logitech, what, was it 260? 2 something? I'll remember at some point and I'll just throw it in with the video. But anyways, so that was purchased. Let's get this back on here. So I purchased that back in 2012, and it's really it's just always looked like crap. But it's been getting worse lately, especially if you've seen some of my recent videos. It's been crapping out in the middle of some videos, and it was the point where the stuff that I was uploading just looked so horrendous. That had to go. So I saved up a little money. Basically, I'm working 2 jobs right now, so it brings a little bit in, and I would like to get a professional camera, but I don't have, you know, I was limited to what I could pay for this, which normally retails for about $350, $400 around there. I got it for a little bit less than that. But yeah, it's better than anything that I've used before. And yeah, I'm looking forward to actually shooting videos that don't look like hell anymore. And maybe I'll start do something outside again. I have no idea, but you know, it's awesome. So really, that's all I have for today. I'm just going to do a short video about my new camera and the graveyard of X cameras, which I just dug out of a storage box, and they'll be going back in there. Actually, I didn't even know that somehow my last move, because I actually, for the longest time, I did actually have the charger for this connected to it, and at some point in the last move it just got lost, so I didn't even realize this until about 20 minutes ago when I was going through. But I'll find it. It's around here somewhere. Or if I really want mini DV cams on eBay, go for really cheap, but I'm not too concerned about that. And I still have most of the important stuff I still have captures that I made years ago, saved on external hard drives and things like that. Anyway, so that's it for today. So as always, everyone, thank you for watching, and have a great day. If I can actually find my button.